Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1899 AN. Today's date is June 21st, 2019, and the title of the episode is, Do You Believe the Economic Stage Has Been Set? Now, before I get started, I wanted to talk about Q and those people that have been following Q. Ever since Q first appeared, we've learned the truth behind the deep state and its attempt to undermine America and all that it stands for. Fellow QAnons will recognize it straight away. I mean, look closely at the new coin. You'll notice not just the superb level of craftsmanship, but hidden symbols and signs of the QAnon movement. The coin comes with an envelope and a card, and it's packaged in an envelope of We the People. Whether you're new to the movement or been following the movement for some time, you're going to want to add this coin to your collection. Go to greatawakeningcoin.com, and for this month you can get $5 discount if you buy 2 coins. Just use X22 Report in the discount box and you'll get these 2 coins delivered to your doorstep. And as Q always says, where we go one, we go all. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we are watching something very interesting happen in the economy. And we know that Q has been telling us that gold is going to bring down the Federal Reserve. And we've been watching the gold price. And we know that the central bankers, we know they manipulate the precious metals market. How do they do this? They throw gold contracts at the precious metals market to bring it down. Gold really wants to rise right now because the value of the dollar continually decreases. And the central bankers, they don't want gold to rise because if gold continually rises, people then say, hey, what is going on with the dollar? This makes no sense. And they don't want to bring that attention to the dollar because this is their fiat currency. But we're finding that something very interesting is happening. And everything is being now set so we can move forward with removing the Fed, taking down the deep state, and restarting this economic system without a central bank. And we'll be getting into that in just a moment. Now, first, like we've been saying for a very long time, there are 2 economic systems occurring at the same time. And we made the reference back to 1971, where they were ushering in the petrodollar system, and we had the petrodollar system and the gold standard at the same time. People didn't realize that there was a petrodollar system until they did the old switcheroo. The same thing is happening right now. We have the old central bank system, which is the petrodollar system, and Trump and the Patriots, they're bringing in a new system, which is going to be backed by sound money, most likely gold. People don't see that yet until everything is transitioned. But when we look at the central bank system, we know that it cannot continue on the way it is. And we look at many different indicators and we see that they are completely falling apart. So what is Trump and the Patriots, what are they doing? They are trying to keep this system that we're in today together long enough to allow us to prepare and transition into a new system. And many of the indicators that we are watching and have been watching for a very long time is unemployment, GDP, retail, housing. And we know that these numbers, they were manipulated to give us the illusion that things are doing a lot better than they really were. How do they manipulate them? Well, unemployment, very easily. Those people who are no longer looking for work, you just don't count them anymore. You change the calculations. Same thing with GDP. Housing, all you have to do is tell banks, listen, don't foreclose on houses. Let people stay in there. Lower the interest rates. Allow investment companies, hedge funds to purchase up thousands and thousands of houses. Keep them off the market. Let the prices rise in certain cities, 20 cities to be exact. And people think the housing market's doing a lot better. But once you start raising the rates, once you start moving out of that entire illusionary scenario, that's when things start to fall apart. And that's what we saw. The Federal Reserve, their instructions were to bring down the economy before the 2020 election. Now, Trump and the Patriots, they knew this. And what we saw happening was retail was falling apart, housing market was falling apart. Everything started to slide. And the Patriots said, listen, we can't allow this to happen. We need to stop this. So the Fed cannot raise rates any longer. And this is why Trump was out there contradicting the Fed, saying this is what the Fed shouldn't be doing. They should be keeping the rates steady. And then, of course, Trump took this a step further and said the Fed should be cutting rates. And we should also have stimulus because he knows he'll need this to get through the 2020 elections. But when we look at the indicators like housing, for example, since Trump said, listen, don't raise rates anymore, the housing market kind of leveled off right now. And existing home sales, they rose by 2.5% month on month. Now, year on year, they're still down, which means we're going to need to lower these rates even further. Why? It allows individuals to come into the market because those individuals that can barely afford a house right now, if you lower the rates a little bit more, they have the ability to afford that home. Now, Lawrence Yun, who is the National Association of Realtor economists, he's normally wrong on his predictions on what the housing market's going to do. If you go back to 2008, he said this is just a little blip in the market, and when we hit 2009, things will really improve, but they really didn't. The housing market was in terrible, terrible shape, and I don't think everyone realized how bad it was. But I will agree with Lawrence on this one particular thing. He said the purchasing power to buy a home has been bolstered by falling mortgage rates, and buyers are responding. Yes, if you lower the rates, more people are going to come to the market. Trump understands this. He understands that the Fed needs to cut rates and the Fed needs to implement stimulus to keep this central bank system going. We don't want it to fail right now. He's not finished in what he needs to do. And I'm not just saying him, the Patriots around him. They're preparing the transition. They prepared us for a transition back in 71 to come off the gold standard. Now they're preparing the transition to go from the petrodollar back to the gold standard. Now, what's very interesting is that we saw gold hit $1,400 today. Now, it hasn't been that high in a very, very long time. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to go even higher. I'm waiting to see if the central banks will throw a huge amount of paper contracts at the gold price. Now, every time they do this, they can't smash the gold price down as much as they used to. And it's becoming more and more difficult for them to smash it down. Now, if they don't smash it at all, and we don't see anything like this, and they allow the gold price, or they just don't have the ammunition to smash the gold price, and the gold price moves up, this is an indicator. And it's letting us know that they are preparing the system to move over from this central bank system into a people system, which will be backed by sound money. Now, if we go back to post 2619 and we look at what Q said back then, an anonymous Anon asked a question. Do we have the gold, Q? Q said, yes. Gold shall destroy the Fed. So this is something that we will be watching right now, because there are many individuals that are saying that by the end of this year, it's going to go much, much higher than 1,400, which to me tells us that this is letting us know they are proceeding forward, and who has control over the precious metals market right now? The Patriots. Because if we don't see the gold contracts being brought out and having them slam down gold, or even if they do come out and they slam down gold and they don't slam it down as much as they used to, it means the Patriots are gaining more and more control of the precious metals market. And eventually, we might not even see the gold contracts thrown at gold anymore, and gold just continually rises. And this is something we need to watch, because the Fed right now, they are preparing their narrative to cut the rates by the end or the middle of this summer. And they're building the entire narrative. Actually, Fed Bullard, he's saying that He wants interest rates cut as an insurance policy because the economic system is slowing. And we're going to see a lot more of these stories come out where the Fed is trying to build the narrative of why they need to cut the rates right now. And then towards the end of this year, probably the fall, they're going to start building the narrative of why they need to start stimulus. Now, this is all part of the plan. And if everything goes as planned, as we're watching it unfold right in front of our eyes, we should see gold move up. We should see the interest rates being cut. We should see stimulus. And we should see Trump and the Patriots start making additional trade deals. We'll see other things happen in the economy. And Trump will start building the narrative of why we need to go back to sound money. Now, is this going to happen in 2019? No. He'll probably start this in 2020, moving into late 2020, moving into 2021, and he'll start building this up. And this is all part of the plan. You need to take this one step at a time because Trump and the Patriots, what they're trying to do is they're trying to undo everything that has been done over the many, many years. And he's trying to do this in a very, very short period of time. Now, very interestingly, I want to go back to his tweet on June 20th. And it says, "The president has a really good story to tell. We have unemployment lower than we've seen in decades. We have people who stopped looking for work coming back into the labor force. We are in a record growth period. Michael Steele at MSNBC, do you believe?" Now, this is very interesting. The words, "do you believe?" Because this was in a post, and this is 879. This is back May 8th, 2018. And the post reads as follows. "Set the stage, POTUS. Do you believe? Buckle up." Now, to me, Trump is letting us know that everything has been set. Buckle up. We're going to be going for this ride. And it's not just with the economy. It's with everything that we're watching right now. But I do believe this was done on purpose to let everyone know where we are right now. And he's trying to tell everyone, watch gold, watch the trade deals, watch what's happening. We are now preparing everything. It's going to be a rough ride. And remember, he needed to get rid of the swamp first. He needed to get rid of all the blocks first, because going after the central bank is a very difficult task, because the central bank is just not here in the United States. The central bank is everywhere in most of the countries. And if you go back to Q's post, Q actually listed all the countries where there's a private Western central bank. And we know we have the ECB, we have the IMF, the BIS, and on top of that, the Rothschilds, which they are controlling pretty much everything. And Trump, the Patriots, they understand that this is going to be a coordinated effort to take down the Fed. Now, if the gold price continually rises and it moves up to $14.10, $14.15, $25, maybe by the end of this year, $1,500, $1,600 per ounce, people are going to start to look at this and say, what is going on here? And they're going to be scratching their head, and people are going to start getting into gold. And you know what happens when people start to buy gold? Well, more people start to buy gold, and that means the price goes up. And if the central bankers truly lost control at this point, we will see no more gold contracts thrown at precious metals, which means the price will start rising pretty darn fast. Remember, Q told us that gold will bring down the Fed because gold is sound money. When gold reaches prices like $2,500, $4,000, $5,000, it shows the world that this fiat currency is worthless. And if gold continually rises, people start to understand that gold now is the real money and fiat isn't. And what do countries do? They get out of fiat. What will that do? That will cause a chain reaction around the world. The central bank system is based on fiat currency. And once countries start to look at this and they want to get in and purchase a lot of gold, tons of gold, not a couple of ounces, this, in a coordinated effort, will bring down the central bank establishment. And once again, this will be a one-in-a-lifetime chance to take over and remove the central bank from many, many countries and allow the creation of currency to be returned back to the people, which means we won't be borrowing money from a private Western central bank, which means there'll be no interest attached, which means we just can't create more currency when we need it because something will be backing it, which means there's checks and balances, which means the corruption in government, well, that dwindles quite a bit because you're not able to just continually borrow and borrow and borrow and borrow and filter the funds into your own pockets, to your party's pockets, and things like that. So we're getting ready to move to a completely new and different system. The stage has been set. Do you believe it? Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.